Are you ready for the PATS Nation? The only real deal Patriots Postgame show. And now, CORSO and CATONE.
Welcome into the PATS Nation, the real Patriots postgame show, the only Patriots postgame show worth watching, right, Mark?
Absolutely. What else are they going to watch, Chris?
That's it. I'm Chris Corso. Sitting right over there is Mark CATONE. And listen, week 9 sees the Patriots travel to the Panthers. And, hey, Mark, they really beat them bad, 24-6. We'll get to our predictions after and what we had.
Listen, I know I wasn't. I said a blowout. I didn't hit the number, but I said a blowout.
So 24-6, they beat the Carolina Panthers. And look, we're live up on YouTube. If you want to see, again, our bright, shining faces, go ahead and log in. Chat's open. We want to hear from you. We want to hear all your thoughts on this game. And look, if you can't watch and you want to listen live on Podbeam. And, hey, check us out on Twitter, @CORSO_CATONE, @CORSO_CATONE. And you want to give us a call live or leave a message, 855-313-PATS, 855-313-7287. Got a lot to get to today. MacMania, Coach's Corner, and our Sunday Stiff. So, Mark, your impressions right off the bat.
Chris, it was a gritty win. They listen. This is the formula, Chris, that we kind of talked about before the season started. Even though it was inconsistent at the beginning, they had a couple of bumps against Dallas and Tampa. But this is what you and I talked about: defense, run the ball, and even before they named Jones as the quarterback, I thought put him in a position not to make mistakes, make some plays when he can. And that's what they did today, Chris. And I don't want to keep bringing this up, but very reminiscent of those early championship years, right?
Yeah, you should keep bringing it up.
Right?
Because
very reminiscent, Chris, of those early years.
It's the reality that we're
dynasty.
in. Absolutely. And I agree. And from the defensive standpoint, finally now, we're now starting to see this team play the way we thought they would play and not just get up for the big games.
Yeah.
Because they played well against Tampa. They played pretty well against Dallas. But
they gave up. I don't know. I don't know if I'd go that far.
Okay. But you know, they've risen to the occasion on the big games and then kind of sloppy but now you play a kind of a crap team and you do it to them, you know? And so I agree with you. And, you know, Mac Jones, well, let's talk about Mac Jones. You ready?
Let's do it.
Go, Joe. So, Mark, he's 12 of 18, 139 yards, and 1-1. 1 TD, 1 interception. You know, rate his – what do you give him for a grade today?
I'll give him, Chris, because of the pick was kind of a bad throw, and I do think –
And who it was to.
Well and I do think, Chris – he did make some reads. I mean, at one point, he threw those 2 balls up towards the end zone, and there was nobody there. And at the end of that series, McDaniels was really giving it to him a little bit on the sidelines, if you saw it. And he was just sitting there with his head down listening, but McDaniels was giving it to him. So I think I would probably give him today, because of that. And I know they didn't ask him to do a whole hell of a lot, but I'd probably say a B-.
I give him a C+ today.
Okay.
and that's close to where
and that's
you
fair,
are.
Chris.
You
C+,
know.
B- range. I agree with that.
Because, just like you say, I mean, it was a little uneven today. His percentage isn't bad. I mean, 12 of 18. So he didn't – was it 12 of 18 or 12 of 16? God, my eyesight.
I think it was 18, Chris. 12 of 18. Put the glasses on.
You know, so I think 12 of 18. He's always on my ass, Joe, you know?
Buddy, put the glasses on. Come on.
Glasses. I don't have the glasses. They're like over there. So, yeah, 12 of 18, 139. So it's not like a huge number, but yeah, if he didn't have that pick,
yeah,
like you say, then I would be like, you know, B, solid B. You know, not doing anything to hurt them, but not really over the top. But he did a little something hurt them. And look, you're going against a guy like Gilmore, and we've said it all along about him.
Well, Gilmore had the perfect technique, Chris, and you're a guy who loves cornerback play.
Yeah,
that was the perfect technique for that pick.
I teach my kids, hey, run the route. Learn how to run the route for the receiver.
And that's exactly what Gilmore did.
Yep, there's nobody in the NFL that's better than he at doing that. He just understands what he's looking at. He sees things before, he recognizes it, he studies, and he just gets to the spot where the ball's going to be before the receiver does. They were trying to get a little pick play there, and they couldn't make that happen. They couldn't have that little rub on him because he just went over the top of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because to your point, Chris, he ran the receiver's route.
And that's something Mac Jones is not – he hasn't seen that yet this year. He hasn't seen somebody like that can do that crap because he probably should be on his own team. And so –
That's a good point, Chris.
Right. So, he didn't even get to see him in practice because the dude he was on the PUP list all that time. So that was the bad mistake. But the defense bailed him out. They bailed him out all day. So
and Chris, yeah, he did. They didn't ask him to do a lot today, and he didn't. But he did. He made those couple of mistakes.
Yeah, he did, and he wasn't as accurate on some throws. There were a couple of deeper throws. A throw to Myers, I think, that kind of went off a little bit, or it was overthrown, something like that. But Mark, he throws a good deep ball, though, doesn't he?
No, he does. He really does. If you have somebody, Chris, that can get open, he does throw a good deep ball. Even that wheel route, I know it was a little bit. I know he had to turn a little bit for it, your buddy Bolden, but just a touch on that wheel route, Chris, he ran. He's just got a good touch on those balls. He's as good as any. You look around the league, Chris. He throws those as good as anybody.
Yeah, I agree. And also the little flare pass, a little bubble pass to Stevenson.
Yeah,
he hit him right on stride, got it right past that defender that was turning to try to go out there. Stevenson had a big game. He had a big gain. I mean, so in the first half, he was 11 for 13 for 121 yards. So he only gained another 10, 15 more yards, 20 yards in the second half. But they didn't need him to do that.
No,
they didn't need him to do that in the second half. They had a big enough lead. Where Carolina, it's just that, Mark. Is that a good defense? It's a good secondary.
We talked about it yesterday, Chris, on the preview, that the secondary was good and it was solid, and I think it proved to be that. And Chris, the defensive line though wasn't. I mean, they got a little bit of pressure on him. The kid, really, one guy did. The kid Burns, 53, is the only guy that came around the edge and got pressure.
Yeah,
on
we'll talk about
times.
that. We'll talk about that in a couple of minutes because that pissed me off, But
gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, I can't stand them. But you're right, Mark. Last week we put a couple of those sacks, or maybe one of them on Jones, right?
Yeah, not this week. This week it was totally on the offensive line, I think, Chris.
Yeah, I don't think you can put it on him. So all in all, C+, B-. We're right in line with that. Nothing sexy, nothing, if he had somebody he can throw over the top to, which we'll get to in a little while, then maybe his touch would be better. So listen, Mac Mania was presented by Special Sauce Podcast, Startup Finance and Drive Yourself to Success, specialsaucepodcast.com. And Mark, let's get into the rest of the offense right now. Let's start like we always start. Let's start with the offensive line. How do you rate their play today?
Well, because they ran the ball so well, Chris, I'm going to rate them a C+. I can't give them a B, Chris, because they were just false starts, holding. Still can't protect this kid. They're going to get this kid killed these guys coming off the edge. But because they ran the ball so damn good, Chris, I got to say C+. I almost was tempted to give them a B- because they ran the ball so well, but
see, I'm willing to give him a B-.
All right.
You and I are like, I'm willing to give him a B-, except for one person, but I'm willing to do that only because, like you say, the rushing. What they rush for 170? Let's see here. Hold on. I think it was 178 yards. Or where are we?
Yep.
No. It looks like 150. No, that can't be right. 151 yards. I thought it was more than that, but whatever. We'll get the stats. The point is, there were the way it's reading here is 39 carries for 151 yards. So, but I thought they had that. I thought they had that at the half. So, and no, they were 12 of 18 for 100, and that was Mac Jones. All right, I'm all screwed up with the stats. Mark, you look it up. The point is, the offensive line played well after that
Chris,
first.
151 yards.
Okay, so 151 yards.
Yep.
The point is, the offensive line played well after that first drive was a calamity of errors. I mean, they holding, false start, another holding, sack. I mean, it was friggin' awful. And you really thought, oh God, here we go now. This offensive line is going to suck today.
Yeah.
But they turned it back around. You know, I thought the right side of the line, I thought played pretty well. You know,
the right side of the line, Chris, they ran to the up the middle into the right as always, typical.
Yeah. Owino, Mason, Andrews, Karras.
Yep.
I give those guys a B.
Yeah.
So the reason why this is coming down to a B minus C plus is because of that fat slug on the end. And I have nothing against
Chris.
I
give him an F. Give him an F.
But I call him that not because of his weight, but because I feel like he's a slob. Okay. Yes, you do give him an F. And that F, I don't know Joe, how does it work in school? How badly does the grade come down when you get one bad one? That's pretty bad. Mark, you wouldn't know this.
You're asking me.
Mark would know this. The bottom line is,
you're the guy who's in the school. You're asking me, not nowhere near close to the school department.
Yeah. He runs the whole school department. This guy.
No.
So, Mark,
no F. Definitely an F, Chris. Got to be an F.
You saw the play, right? Everybody saw the play where Mac Jones coughed up the ball. I mean,
why don't you dissect that for us, Chris? Because you were going crazy on the phone with me.
I told you yesterday that I think it's easier, I think, to play tackle. Not only physically easier, but it's easier to understand how to play tackle and how to identify your responsibilities than it is guard, because there's a lot of calls going on in the interior. I'll try not to be long-winded on this. So the friggin' tackle, okay, you know who you're picking up. And in that situation, you know, who's next to him? Karras. So Isaiah Wynn lines up, okay? He's got a defensive back, 43, who was coming off the edge all day. He had number 43 set out. Not even, like in a 9 technique, which is way outside. You know, not like just outside the defensive end or the tackle. You're talking way outside. And he also had his tight end, Henry, there in that spot too. There was really nobody ahead of him, just outside of him, and maybe somebody inside. So when you line up on the ball, you got to know this is the dude on the left that's going to be the problem. And I know I'm getting a chip from Hunter Henry. He's going to whack that guy on the line before he goes out for a pass, which gives the slob enough time to shuffle his feet, get up, get wide, and take care of it. Mark, what did he do on it? You tell everybody. What did he actually do? Chris,
it was he first of all, Chris, his technique is awful because he's not in a position to even swing out after the chip. He like stands up almost like straight, Chris.
Yeah.
Which you don't teach an offensive lineman to do, right, Chris?
No, you stay in posture.
You stay in posture, you slide, you move quickly with your feet. He stands up, right? Which is totally not, you don't teach anybody how to play offensive line like that, let alone left tackle. And then, Chris, it was almost like he stumbled over his feet. Like he has no foot movement at all. I don't understand how he's still playing that position.
He was looking around. He's standing there looking around like, who am I supposed to block?
But then when he realized I got to move.
Yeah, he was flat.
It's like he stumbled.
Yeah. Yeah, he stumbles. He can't shuffle his feet because he's a slob, Mark. He's a friggin' slob. He can't move his feet. He can't get wide. How you don't know that that's the guy you're going to be picking up? I mean, how you don't understand that? I mean, shit, if they ran a twist or something, He would have had a lot more time to see it from the inside. Fine. But there's no way that happened. It was going to happen. They didn't have the personnel on the field for that. So the jackass can't recognize anything. First of all, understand that he's got help out there. And all he's got to do is move to the left, shuffle his feet to the left, like you said. And he just stood there looking around for people to block. The moron.
Chris, like I said, if people go back and watch the play, Chris, the technique was so bad.
Oh, he's flat-footed. He's standing up.
Oh, he's
looking around.
Exactly.
He's got no communication with Henry. He's got no play recognition. He stinks. He stinks as a tackle. I'm sorry.
Chris, was he the 24th, 23rd pick in the draft?
Like 23rd, 22nd. Okay, and when that happened,
that went crazy.
You were screaming. There was a linebacker out there. I don't know, Dallas or somebody, Dallas or Indy. And you're like, we got to get this linebacker. We're going to trade up one spot to get a receiver. And here we go taking a guard from Georgia who we're going to then make a tackle.
Yeah.
That's good. A reclamation project. Let's get that done. So, no, I'm sorry. He stinks. And he needs to get off this field. And the biggest problem is, where's Brown? You know,
Chris. Well, we talked about this yesterday on the pregame, Chris. He's doing exactly what he's done everywhere else he's gone. He's lazy. He don't want to get on the field. He just wants his money. He's probably eating himself into oblivion. He's probably about 400 pounds right now, right? I mean, that's what he did in Oakland.
Yeah, it is.
So there it is. He's doing the same thing he did. And come on, a calf injury. Obviously, Chris, if they thought it was a major injury, he would have been on IR. They haven't put him on IR. So what the hell's he doing?
Again, it's
what's he eating? Cheetos and bonbons.
Well, they better get somebody else. I'd rather see get somebody else from just get somebody else out there.
They got to do something.
You know what I mean?
Get rid of the roster spot.
If a winner was playing well at tackle, then move him to left.
Yeah.
And put Haran back in or do something. I don't know. I mean, the bottom line is the guards are playing well. Andrews is steady. And that guy's bringing the offensive line down. And you know what? I don't put it on because I want your opinion on that other sack that came from the right side. Because I don't put that on a Winu. It was the same guy, number 43, coming off the edge, just on the opposite side when they sacked Jones. Remember that play?
Yep.
What did I say? Who didn't get the chip? I was about to give Henry an F just for that play. Because
Henry has had some issues with chipping all season.
Yeah. He was lined up in a 3-point stance, Henry.
It wasn't Jonnu Smith. Both tight ends, Chris, have had issues with that all season.
Yeah, that chipping. I mean, Henry's lining up in a 3-point stand, going to go up a stance, going to go for a pass. My God, all you got to do is this.
Chris, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't that like a prerequisite to be a tight end that you got to be able to chip?
Got to. Have to. Because that screwed the tackle over. See now when everybody looks at that is going to say, how could the right tackle allow that sack? Well, it wasn't on him. That dude's got speed coming off the edge. You need a chip like Wing got and didn't do anything with.
And Chris, and that's something that people sometimes forget. It was like you had an extra offensive lineman on the field when you had Gronkowski in his prime. In his prime, Chris, he was like another offensive lineman.
Well, because a lot of people think that Gronk was just this dope, meathead that's out there and doesn't know what. That dude is a smart football player.
Yeah, he could
He's
block.
A smart football player.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and you see the difference, but then it looked like somebody must have talked to him on the sideline because he was chipping for the rest of the game, especially when it was on the left side because Isaiah Wynn sucked.
Must have been Belichick's son.
My God, Mark. He just looks weird, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a weird dude.
Just looks like strange. Like he's still ready to go trick-or-treating from the other night.
Yeah, you should have let him borrow your bag.
The bag with a bag on the head. And the hair would come down behind it, the mullet. Yeah. Dude's got a mullet.
Yeah, I don't know, Chris. Jesus. I don't know.
Joe, you had a mullet, didn't you?
I did not have a mullet. Oh my God.
Well, you certainly don't now.
No, hey, forget it now.
That's for sure, So
God only made so many perfect heads. The rest he gave hair,
Well, hey, you know what? It's like Costanza. Costanza gets pissed off with people who shave their head. It's like he says it's false advertising. So yeah, Mark, the offensive line, I thought they played well in the running game. And then when we get to the running backs now, because is it the offensive line? Because I know a couple of them that was, or is it the backs?
I think I do think, Chris, it's a combination of both. They opened up some holes for them today. I think the backs had a good game. Obviously, Stevenson had a good game. Harris had a good game. Bolden had a good game, a solid game for what they asked him to do. But I do think, Chris, the offensive line opened up. There were some holes. There were some gaping holes that they ran through too. Don't get me wrong. Stevenson ran over guys. I'm not saying he didn't. But I think the offensive line, I think it was a combination of both, Chris. I think the offensive line did do a good job today. Andrews over on the right, not the left. Let's preface that. They did do a good job, Chris.
Yeah. They did. And the only success they had to the left was when they went off guard.
Yeah.
And then when they got wide.
Yeah.
And that was the thing with Carolina. Carolina was not good to the edge. Their edge defense for running is not good.
You talked about that yesterday, Chris, how their strength was their defensive tackles, their middle of their line, not the edge.
Right, and they gave us some trouble early on in the game, and I think they just got tired. Yeah. Because New England's offense was out there quite a bit. I don't have the time of possession numbers, but right now I'll find them on the break. But here it is. Time of possession was we didn't have them that bad. 32-27. 32 minutes. So that's pretty even.
That's not bad.
But yeah, it looked like they had more success, New England, running the ball in between tackles in the second half than the first half. But when they wanted to get to the edge, they did every single time. But Mark, these two running backs.
Chris, I've been calling for Stevenson and Harris to be your 1-2 punch since week 2?
Since the preseason.
And finally today they did it. Right? Finally today they did it. And then of course in the fourth quarter, Stevenson goes to the locker room. And Harris goes to the tent. You want
to do that right now? Because I'm so pissed off about that play. I'm really fired. I got real hot about that. Tell Joe.
Well, Chris, why don't you explain the play? Why are you so pissed off? Now he's talking about the play that Harris got hurt. Okay.
No,
Damian
I'm talking
Harris.
about the Stevenson play.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Harris play too. The Harris plays when they came into the backfield and hit him, and then he ended up on the ground. That was after the play you got pissed off about was after
it was
Stevenson.
Harris. So the play, and everybody out there can see this. All they kept running was that motion draw. So they bring the wide receiver across and either run them straight across in the motion like they're going to jet sweep and hand it to him, or they bring him across and give that wide motion where that kind of wheel motion where he comes across and goes behind the quarterback. And that's just a lot of window dressing, that stuff. That's window dressing to try to get guys moving and flowing different ways on the defense. And what you do is get the ball, fake it, and it's kind of like a counter draw play where you hand it to the running back and it's a draw. And you try to get the guard to the other side guard to pull, come across the line of scrimmage to block. And it's a delayed handoff. Okay. So they did that about 16 times in a row. Okay. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but they did that a crap load of times, Mark. You cannot do that shit to an NFL football team, an NFL defense, and not expect somebody to just crease into the backfield
and crush somebody
and kill your running
back, which is exactly what they did to Harris.
So that's squarely, if this kid is hurt, that's squarely on McDaniel's shoulder. Just because you're winning this game and there's 10 minutes left, 8 minutes, whatever it was, doesn't mean you can't play action and throw to a check down or something like that,
No, that was poor. That was a poor call. And Stevenson, Chris, both guys, Chris, it didn't seem to me like it was lower extremity, like knee or ankle. Yeah. The injuries where, oh God, okay, he's going to be out the rest of the season. He's going to be out 5, 6, 7 weeks. It didn't seem like those types of injuries. Stevenson almost seemed to me, which I shouldn't say, because with the Patriots, you get a concussion, you're out forever.
Got it. Wade.
But it seemed to me like he had trouble getting off the ground, and then they sat him up, and it seemed like they were talking to him because he was kind of out of it, maybe. Not that he was hurt, like he broke something or tore something. Yeah. And then they took him to the locker room, which means he probably was going to go into the concussion protocol, which typically, unless it didn't appear like he broke anything where they were taking him in for x-rays.
No, it didn't look. It definitely wasn't a lower injury, and I don't know about Harris. Looked like it may have been because I thought as soon as he was walking to the blue tent, it looked like he was a little gingerly on that left side.
All right,
so
maybe. I
don't
hope not.
know on Harris,
I hope not.
But Stevenson, I agree with you. But man, you have been screaming for this since the preseason with this Stevenson. He just goes forward. He never has a loss of yards. He'll find a way. Move that run he had to the edge to the right side where he spun.
Yeah.
At the end, towards the end of that game, spun out of it. And
Chris, he's LeGarrette Blount with more speed and a little more skill. He can catch the ball and do a little bit more. He's LeGarrette Blount with more speed and more skill, which is a scary combination, Chris, if this kid really can get himself rolling, you know?
That's a great analogy.
Really?
He is like that guy, you know? But on short yardage, we talked about this.
That, Chris, just plays into what you screamed about last week at the goal inside the 5-yard line.
You didn't think for 1 second after McDaniel came out. I was so happy that he took responsibility for that in the press, because then you weren't going to say that this week and then come out and start throwing the ball in the red zone.
No.
So now when it was 3rd and 1. I like the fact that they took a little bit of the training wheels off Jones and allowed him to QB sneak. And I'm wondering if he called that on his own.
You know what, Chris? I hope he did, because that will show a little bit more initiative on the kid that, hey, I'm reading something here and I'm gonna change out of what you called, Josh. And if he did do that, then I hope he did, because that would be great. But I don't know if he did.
Well, I'll tell you what. And then the other short yardage stuff. Stevenson, Harris, Stevenson.
Absolutely.
I mean, Stevenson bulled their way down to like the 4-yard line, 3, and then Harris did the rest.
Yeah.
You know, so.
How about the receivers today, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, we're spending so much time on the running backs because that's the meat of this game. And that's going to have to be their MO, right, Mark?
Chris, that's going to be their staple and their signature going forward. Defense, protect the ball, and run it. Because they just don't. I think they've proven now, Chris. This is week 9. The receivers will make a couple of plays here and there, but they just don't have the receivers.
Yeah. Well, look, as far as the receivers go, I mean, there was only 18 attempts. And Mark, out of those 18, let's see, 1, 2, 4.
To the running backs?
Yeah. 2, 4, 5 of the 12 completions were to the running backs. Jesus. And on top of that, okay, well, was he 100% to the running backs? Yeah. So he was 100% to the running backs. And, again, 5 of those 12. So there were 7 passes completed to
other guys
with 8 attempts. So, I mean, the percentage was pretty good. I mean, Kendrick Bourne, 3 catches for 34 yards or 4 attempts, but that was on one of those plays was the bulk of that. You had Hunter Henry, that's a tight end though, 2 catches on 3 attempts with the 1 touchdown. Mark, they allowed him to throw into the end zone. And I was yelling that right before that. Throw the ball into the end zone to the tight ends. And he put a missile.
Chris, can I ask you a question? Why don't they try to utilize it? I thought when they got this kid, Jonnu Smith, he was going to open up the field for them at the tight end position. Like, he runs the same play every week.
Yeah, out of the backfield.
Like, I don't understand what they're doing with him.
They threw it twice to him. He caught 1 for 4 yards.
But they do the same thing every week with him, Chris.
Every week. You don't see him downfield.
No.
You don't see him in the center of the field.
And I thought that's why they signed him.
He had to sit down in those zones and stuff.
That's what I thought they signed him for, but they don't use him like that. And Hunter Henry, Chris, is becoming his go-to guy in the red zone, which I'll give you credit, Chris. When they signed Hunter Henry, you said, Mark, this kid could be a beast in the red zone. He stays healthy. He could catch 10, 12 touchdown passes. And that was a good prediction. You said that when they signed him, Chris. I'll give you credit for that.
Mac Jones threw a missile to him.
Yep.
I mean, like that thing was a missile.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mark, with the receivers, Bourne and Myers, they got 8 attempts. 8 attempts, 4 catches. So they're 50%. Kendrick Bourne was 3 for 4, 3 or 4, and Myers didn't have.
Chris,
that was a rough game.
Was your buddy active today?
No. Your buddy, you mean? Your best friend.
No, not my buddy. That's your buddy.
Mr. Pac-12.
He wasn't active. I wonder if he's injured.
He's got some sort of knee injury, or maybe it's a sign of heading to the IR to free up a roster spot, Mark. Tell
Either
the people,
IR,
tell the
either
people
the
what I
IR
mean.
or the waiver wire.
Tell the people what I mean. Because they can hide him in IR too, because they're not going to get away from a first round pick yet. But
okay. So
why am I talking about
obviously this week everybody knows the talk, and if you listen to all the pregame shows today on CBS and Fox and NFL Network, everybody was talking about Odell Beckham, and the rule everyone is saying if he clears waivers, which Chris and I were talking during the game, we think he'll clear waivers unless you get a stupid team that's willing to pick up the rest of that contract, which is really hefty. Cleveland voided the last 2 years of it. He can go and sign with anybody, and you can negotiate whatever you want to negotiate with him and try to spread money out. So chances are he's going to clear waivers, and everyone's saying New England would be one of the top 3 or 4 teams that would be in the market for him.
What explain the waiver wire to people?
So there's 32 teams, right? And they rank you 1 through 32
as of right now.
Right now, and if you get, if somebody claims you, and they rank you, and if somebody claims you, they're going to pick up your salary, the remainder of the salary. And I think they were somebody estimated it at $7.2 million.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's giving him $7 million just because you don't know what his attitude's going to be coming in. Chances are he's going to clear it. He'll sign for the rest of the year with somebody, prove himself, and then go try to make himself a boatload of money at the end of the season. So,
who's the ultimate team? Who's the ultimate prove-it team over the years?
Patriots. Chris, I'm telling you something. I'm just going to throw it out there. I threw it out there yesterday. You thought I was a cuckoo clock for throwing it out there. I just have a goddamn... I just don't want to see him in a creamsicle jersey.
Oh, now,
I'm just throwing it out there.
I don't think that's going to happen. And the reason I don't think that's going to happen is because I think for him, he may, see the writing on the wall down there.
Yeah, and for him, Chris, I think he wants to go somewhere where a place like New England, Chris, Jesus Christ.
He's the guy.
Who the hell else did they got to throw the ball to? You're right.
Aguilar was invisible again today.
He's the guy. He'll go down there, and Mac Jones will target him 10 times a game because he's the guy.
All the things I'm hearing is come Wednesday, he'll be a Patriot. And he's always, listen, he wanted to play with the other guy that used to be here, but he also
he wanted to play with Jacoby Brissett. He did.
but he also wanted to play with Bella. He also likes Belichick.
He did like Belichick.
They have a lot of respect for each other. So let's see. Stay tuned. But Mark, the other team, there's only so many teams. Well, the team that's dumb enough, in my opinion, to claim him, and that moron Urban Meyer. But by the way,
he would.
But they beat the Buffalo Bills today, Mark. That was huge. That's why we're smiling so much.
That was a big one. Chris, we're only a game out of first place. They can say what they want about it.
Christ almighty. Don't fumble the ball against Miami. What happens? Tied up.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Anyway, so but some other teams that are in the mix, probably if he becomes a free agent, would be, New Orleans, teams like that, maybe Green Bay.
I think the Raiders, Chris.
Well, because of why the Raiders?
Well, Ruggs, you lost the cuckoo clock, Ruggs, right? He does his stupidity, right? So without Ruggs, and I'm assuming, Chris, then I'm guessing if they got rid of him already, then they're going to try to void out, not even pay him what they owe him for money. So they're the one team that could probably venture into Beckham and offer him a boatload of money.
Yeah, but he's walking right back into the fire. I mean, the coaching situation's up for grabs.
I wouldn't want anything to do with that team because I think that team right now is about to be a dumpster fire. But.
Yeah. And so on the other side, we're going to get to the defense. But before we do, yesterday, Mark and I were pretty heated up about, speaking of Ruggs, okay? We were pretty heated up about what happened, with that situation. And one of the things I said was, it pisses me off, okay, that the media outlets, national, local, whatever, their main focus in the story, and for those of you who don't know, Ruggs was involved. It basically vehicular homicide. Hit somebody hit the young girl at 23 years old at 156 miles an hour and killed her. And most of these places, they're just talking about him. Ruggs. And it pisses me off because nobody's talking about her. Nobody gives her story. The young girl who lost her life and the family that's dying inside right now because of it. So we are the real deal. And therefore, I want to tell you just a little bit about this girl. Tina Tinter. That's her name. She spent pretty much since she was a baby, she lived in Las Vegas. She had that 3-year-old golden retriever and who perished also in that crash. A good friend of hers, Mr. Filipovich, I think I'm not Bojana Filipovich. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I apologize if I'm not. Talked to the media and said that Tinter graduated from Durango High School in Las Vegas, and she was hoping to go into computer science programming field. It's devastating, obviously, to her family. Her family's asking for privacy. But she said that Tinter early Tuesday was walking Max. This is the dog, talking about going to Serbia. Filipovich and Tinter were going to take that trip together. And both of them are 23 years old, immigrants from the Balkan country. And Tinter and Filipovich became friends and neighbors in Las Vegas, even though they're from the same area originally. And Mark, she was about to become a citizen. She worked real hard.
Real sad situation.
Yeah, she was about to become a U.S. citizen, worked to get it done the right way. And she was a person, they say, that Filipovich said, would always give you a shoulder to lean on. She would slap sense into her when things were wrong. The last thing is Goran Glavis, the president of St. Simeon Serbian Orthodox Church in Las Vegas, released a statement saying Tinter was always polite, respectful, just like her friends and relatives. And, the Serbian community as well as the Las Vegas community is suffering. And so I wanted to, Mark, I wanted to just give a little bit of information about her because those are the people that are affected by this. That slug, I don't even want to talk about him anymore. He's pointless. Yeah. So again, our thoughts and prayers go out to the entire family, friends, and community there in Las Vegas. So when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit of defense right on the other side.
How do I get to the point where I understand my passion enough to communicate it outward and dial myself in so that I can craft my own sauce? But you don't have anyone that's going to give you the right advice. Now you do. We've been discussing where we live and what areas do we want to always talk about. And really, it's startup, it's finance, and drop. We are Special Sauce Podcast.
Back in with more Pats Nation, the only Patriots postgame show worth watching. So, Mark, we go to the defensive side of the ball. God, there's not much to complain about today. What are your thoughts on that?
No. Listen, defense played well, Chris. I thought, we talked about this yesterday, and during the game, you even said to me, you reiterated the fact that you didn't think Carolina's receivers were very good. And that was definitely true today. J.C. Jackson had a real strong game.
Pay that man,
right?
Like
they better pay that man because Chris, they don't have much left. If they don't in the cupboard in the secondary, I think what's going to happen, Chris, they're probably going to franchise him. I would be willing to bet you. But anyway, getting back to the defense, I thought the defensive line, Chris, the defensive line played really well. Bondmore had a massive game. Massive.
Man.
He was pushing the pocket. He was knocking balls down. He was
double teams.
He was double teams. He caused plays. He caused the interception by Collins because he was pushing the pocket in his face. I think he was causing pressure and making him roll out of the pocket on Jackson's interception too, that he took the other way for 7. Bondmore had a real good game, Chris. I thought it was a solid performance by the defense, real solid.
Oh, for sure. It was. I mean, I told you yesterday, Bondmore is earning that. He's just he's got to become a 3-down player. If he's not already, he needs to be. So I agree with you that what a Collins, man, that was a fantastic catch that he made.
Yeah, it was.
He's like those two mitts were like glue. Was stuck to them like glue. But yeah, J.C. Jackson lights out, man. That guy, he could just flat out play, and they need to pay him. But I agree, Mark. And the pressure package that they had today, because Donald's the kind of guy that can get out a little bit. He can move and run more than people think.
Oh, positively.
And
positively. So, Chris, he's with McCaffrey out injured. He's been leading the team in rushing, or second behind the kid Hubbard. But he was getting a lot of yards, scrambling around, going outside the pocket.
Yeah, and a lot of times running for his life. The Patriots could have had easily 2-3 more sacks.
Yeah, they could have.
What did they end up with? You look that up while I'm doing this. But yeah, because he was 16 to 33 for 172 yards and then 3 picks, right? But in the first half, Mark, they held that team to 65 total yards.
We only ended up, Chris, with 2 sacks.
Okay, so
but we pressured him a heck of a lot more than that.
A lot, yeah, a ton. They pressured him a ton, and they probably could have had more. Judon was close again on several of them. Gottschall was there on one. Collins again played better today. I thought the linebackers played well.
They did.
Minus Hightower.
Yeah.
I feel terrible saying it, but it's
no, Chris. He had a bad game. Hightower, and I'll get more into that in a little bit. But Hightower, Chris, yeah, he had a bad game. He had a bad game in coverage. He had a bad game took bad angles on runs. He took bad angles trying to get to the quarterback. He just had a bad game overall.
Yeah, and I thought, but he did. He came into the backfield once to make a sack, and and Donald made him look silly. Yeah, he just did. So, really and did. They only allowed 78 yards, rushing off 23 carries. So good percentage there for the defense. But I thought the pressure package was great. What they put in. There were a lot of twists.
Why don't you get into that a little bit, Chris?
Well, because I think when I saw with the defensive front, and it was with 4 guys, they were bringing some heat at times, but they didn't really blitz a lot today. What they were doing was they were disguising some of the 4-man pressure, and they were kind of looping and stunting, where every single time they would try to set that edge and seal the edge so he couldn't get out. And most times he wasn't able to. He stepped up in the pocket a few times as soon as the dumb Carolina Panthers figured out that they could hit McCaffrey in the center of the field, which they didn't do that until the fourth quarter. I was shocked they didn't do that more. But anyway, so yeah, they were able to get to him with pressure, but contain him pretty well, Mark.
Chris, you know what they did today more of, I thought? They were more reminiscent today of the year they beat the Rams when Flores was the defensive coordinator, where it seems to me that they've been influenced on defense by Matt Patricia this year a little bit. Maybe more than a little bit. But I didn't see that today, Chris. It was almost like they went back to some of the schemes and some of the principles that they ran, what you just described. They did more of that when Flores was the coach. Defensive coach.
No, I agree, and they did, and that was where they used to be real aggressive under him, but also disguise some of it and appear that they were bringing more heat than they really were, But like today,
and they did that today, Chris.
Yeah, they had zero look. They did some of the things they did last week, where you saw a lot of disguising on the front with the front 7 guys in gaps, dropping out, zero look. Everybody, corners and safeties coming up in man, showing man, and then dropping out and getting into zone, that cover 2 look. They did a lot of that today, and it confused Donald. Donald stinks against the Patriots. They had the stat
Chris,
on TV.
He's got 9 picks or 10 picks?
At least against them. He sucks against the Patriots because he can't handle those looks. Belichick does it to him every single time. So I thought the coaching was good. I thought the defensive play was good from in the front 7. Now the secondary, Mark, what did you think of them? Because Chris, the percentages are good. But I
thought the secondary played well. I thought obviously J.C. Jackson had a couple of picks. And I think the pick he made in the end zone, Chris, I know he got the interception. I get that. But that interception for the touchdown the one for the touchdown, I think, was caused more by pressure than anything else.
Oh,
The
yeah.
play in the end zone, Chris, he took a perfect angle, played
man.
that perfectly. If you asked somebody to play that route, he did exactly what you mentioned earlier, Chris, what Gilmore did. He ran the receiver's route.
Locked down.
He locked down and he went up and got the ball.
He was in phase. They call that in
Right.
phase. When you hip to hip, and you're touching him and you're using your ass to basically push him to out of bounds or to the back line of the end zone, he stayed in phase right there with him. Boom, 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 and he threw it right to him. Donald sucks though. I mean, he threw a ball right,
No,
but
it
was hell of coverage.
It was a terrible pass, but it wasn't a good pass, but it was a hell of a coverage.
Oh yeah,
he shouldn't have thrown the ball there.
Shouldn't have gone
that
anywhere
was poor
near
decision
him.
making on Donald's part, right? He's going to recognize that. But I thought the secondary, Chris, we already talked about the defensive line and some of the schemes and the stunts that they were doing. But I thought the secondary, Chris, had a solid game. And don't get me wrong, Donald stinks. But I think Miles Bryant, Chris, had a solid game.
He did. Jawan Williams still sucks though.
Well, Jawan Williams is another bust, second round bust.
Second
round bust. I just got to say that again.
Yeah, he could have had a receiver, could have had a lot of things. His tackling stinks. His coverage sucks.
Bust? I don't know if I said that.
Yeah, you did.
All right.
He's just not a good. He
Chris,
shouldn't be on the field.
Could you turn him into a safety?
I don't know. I don't think he's got the range to play safety.
Okay.
I really don't think he's got the range.
Because he's not a corner. He's not a corner.
No, he's not a corner. I mean,
not in this league.
No, he should be relegated to the practice squad. I hate the way that guy plays. I can't stand. And the tackling still, there's much to be desired on the tackling. They still got to get better. Mamak, it's all over the NFL.
It's all over the NFL. But Chris, I'm gonna highlight something. Miles Bryant, his name's Miles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wide receiver.
Ooh.
Comes out on the hook. But Bryant's tackle, Chris, is what you've been preaching. Right?
Took his manhood.
Low, technique, shoulder, drive. Everything you've been saying the Patriots aren't doing, he did on that play.
Decleat the guy.
Right?
He did.
It looked like the video you sent me of your son.
Yeah. I mean, you just, that's the way you tackle. I like him so much better than Jawan Williams. But all in all, Mark, I give the whole defense, A minus, A minus.
No, I definitely give them A minus today. Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
and the coaching,
solid.
Yeah, and the coaching was pretty good, which brings us to that now. We got to get into our coach's corner, Mark. You ready to do that?
Let's go.
Joe? Mark, a much, much, much better performance today from the coaching staff than last week. I mean, what did you see?
Much, much better. Much better. Much, much better. I thought the offensive play calling was much better rather than getting Harris killed. The offensive play calling was much better by McDaniels. Ran the ball when he was supposed to run the ball. He got inside the 5. He gave the ball to Harris like he was supposed to. You're not getting cute down there. Defensively, Chris, I don't know if Belichick's taking control of the defense now because he realizes the Son and Mayo were struggling. I don't know. But defensively, they had schemes and they ran things today, Chris, that was a hell of a lot better. The last 2 weeks, really, Chris. The defensive side of the ball, the play calling, the scheming, and what the actual game planning that they've put in place has been much better. So I think Coach's Corner today, Chris, I would give overall coaching today, I think I'd give them an A, Chris. I really do. I think I'd give them an A today. I think they had a real solid day game plan. Listen, you went on the road last week, Chris. You beat a team everybody said was supposedly, they're a good team. They're a good team. It's going to be you have to win this. They won last week. They could have came back and laid an egg today, Chris. They didn't. They had a solid game.
They did. They did. I listen. I give them this. I'll give Belichick and McDaniel an A, because I still don't know what the kid Belichick and Mayo what's happening over there. Because it looks to me like Belichick, as you said, is getting more involved. You can see him talking to them more. You know what you can see, Mark? You know that thing that the cartoon character in Darth Vader wears on his chest?
Yes.
Those are the buttons for the mic, for the headsets. He's got it on his hip, and you can see him pressing that and talking. When he's doing that, he's talking to the defensive guys on that. You know what I mean? Typically. And so he's more involved. And so I give the two of those, for every reason you just said, I give them both a good grade too. Again, just for that last play call series with your running backs, Jesus, let Bolden go out there then,
Oh,
let him
Chris,
take the
come on.
shots.
Bolden had a good game today. Leave him
He
alone.
did, but let him take the shots at the end, let him take the shots. But yeah, coaches did a good job today. Had a good plan, good pressure plan.
I thought they did.
They did. So Mark, doesn't it suck when we can't scream at them?
No, I know. Listen, Chris. I'll take this every week, though. You know what? Let's go. Let's go on a let's go on a roll here.
McDaniel didn't have a choice. Didn't have a choice. He backed himself into the corner.
I like the fact that he took the white gloves off today. He was getting into Jones on the sidelines. I like that.
That's good.
I like that.
Good.
Yeah, I like that. He was.
Kid's got to be able to take it.
Kid's got to be able to take it. Absolutely.
So Coach's Corner was presented by CORSO Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. CORSOLawGroup.com. Allow us to be your voice. And Mark, this is the point of the show that people like. They like it because this is the time where we can yell and scream and carry on like the lunatics that we are. So let's get to our Sunday Stiff, Joe. Mr. Catone.
My Sunday Stiff, Chris, is going to be Dante Hightower. I think the team had overall a good game. But Hightower, Chris, it was, listen, we talked about the fact that you mentioned the fact that he got in on the quarterback, takes the bad angle. Donald makes him look silly.
Yeah.
He got beat numerous times out of the backfield by running backs. He was at one of the plays, Chris, the running back dragged him 5-6 yards down. He's on his back dragging. How the hell are you dragging a linebacker? Are you kidding me? That's so bad, Chris. And I even think, Chris, on the play in the first half, it was a big play for us because the game was still close at that point. When Donald goes back to pass, initially out of the backfield, Hightower was supposed to pick up McCaffrey. He didn't. He blew the coverage. McCaffrey slides out. It was a corner or a safety, tried to get over late because it was supposed to be Hightower's guy.
It was that out-in route.
That out-in route. Hightower doesn't follow him. McCaffrey was wide open for a touchdown. Bondmore saved his ass because Bondmore knocks the ball down. If you don't knock the ball down, it's a touchdown. So Hightower, Chris, it played awful. He looks old. I mean, I get why Belichick's got him on the field, but Jesus, Chris, at some point, I mean, I know Bentley didn't play today. If he did, he played sparingly.
He played, but
because I think he's been banged up. I think he played sparingly. But Hightower,
Collins was in there some.
Yes, Hightower got Collins got more playing time, but he's my Sunday Stiff, Chris. Hightower.
It's hard to blame you for that one, Mark. I mean, it's sad to say it. It really is. But again, I see it. And my son, listen. I mean, if you all don't realize who the hell my Sunday Stiff is right now, then you're just not paying attention. I have to. I got to get pissed again. He sucks. Isaiah Wynn sucks. Okay,
I'm tired. The papers down.
Now he's going to be all over the place.
Friggin' sick of friggin' Isaiah Wynn. Oh my God! And the reason why they keep hanging on to this clown is because he's a first-round pick. Hey, look, just admit you screwed up. You took a guard for a tackle at the number 23 pick. Clearly, you'll let your dog make that pick. Clearly, the dog that's sitting in the chair with Belichick's laptop.
No.
Dog would have done better.
The dog, he didn't that wasn't N'Keal Harry's draft, was it? The dog.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is he stinks. He shouldn't be playing. We've already chronicled what happened. On that edge pad, we almost got. It's Mark. They keep this guy in the game. Jones is gonna. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it out loud.
He's gonna get hurt.
I mean, because again, so he's bad. His footwork is bad. His recognition is bad. His communication sucks. Okay.
Yeah, he's bad.
He's a slob. And
He
that's
is a slob.
again, that's
He's
my
a slob.
Sunday stiff.
Yep.
Mark, you got anybody that can sit with us? And eat today?
Absolutely. Christian Bondmore, Chris. What a game that kid had, Chris. He knocked down a couple of balls. He was constantly pushing the pocket. I know he didn't get a sack, but Chris, Jesus, he pushed the pocket all game long. Like I said, he saved Hightower's ass on that bat down. On the interception by Collins, he's pushing the pocket. On the interception on Jackson that Jackson made, he's put for the touchdown, he's pushing the pocket and he forces Donald out wide. Bondmore, Chris, had a fabulous game. And listen, I'm the first to admit, I screamed on draft night. I did not want him because I just felt we need skilled receivers more at that point. And I still think we need skilled receivers.
Yes.
I do. But Bondmore, Chris, is going to be a Pro Bowler. He's going to be for a long time in this league. The kid is a ball player, and he's my Sunday seat today. And I'll give honorable mention.
No, let me do it.
All right, because I was going to give honorable mention to somebody, but I think that's going to be your Sunday.
You know it's going to be.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, Mark, in your defense on draft night, you weren't saying you didn't like him.
No.
You just wanted somebody else in that spot.
Yeah.
That's all. It wasn't that you didn't like Bondmore. You just didn't want that pick. You wanted a receiver there, and I can't blame you, especially given what happened. Mine, J.C. Jackson. I mean, is that who you're going to say?
Oh, I was going to, yes, but I was going to give honorable mention only to Stevenson because I like, I got a soft spot for that kid. I was going to give it to Steve, honorable mention.
All right, sorry, yeah. So one of the few times, Joe, that he and I weren't on the same page.
One of the few.
One of the few. So J.C. Jackson for me. I mean, like Dion says, pay that man. Pay that man. He needs to get paid. He's going to get paid. Somebody's going to pay that dude, you know? And it's going to be somewhere
we better pay him, Chris, because what do we want to replace him with, Joanne Williams?
Well, and it's going to be somewhere in the $15-16 million range. That's what it's going to be. And they can franchise him, but it's going to cost them 15. But if they franchise him, they're going to piss him off. Just pay the guy. That's it. Pay him. Okay? So those are our Sunday stiffs and Sunday seats. And that is presented by Jag Media Production. So, Mark, we're at that time again. 2-minute warning. Let's wrap it up. You want me to wrap it up first?
No, last week, Chris, I was happy that they won. And I said, hey, they're ready to make that move. If they won last week, Chris, they got a shot. They're 5-4. We're one game behind the Bills. One game. Let's start rolling. I'm excited, even though it may not sound it. We're not subdued today. Him and I are ready to come out of our seats. Chris, we win next week. We're 6-4. Here we come.
That a boy, Mark. For me, Odell Beckham Jr., he should be here on Wednesday. Cut your normal Patriots bullshit out and just go get this guy. Just bring him in. Why won't he turn his mic on?
I'll be out of my mind if we get Odell Beckham. Out of my mind.
And I'm not saying we're going to sign him for 18 years. I'm just saying let him come in for the rest of the season. He's not going to rock the boat in 8 games. He wants to get paid. So that's what's going to happen. So for me, to wrap this up, go get that guy. Let's see him on Wednesday. He'll help prepare for the Browns, and away we go, Mark. So our 2-minute warning was presented by CORSO and CATONE, the real deal New England feel. Every Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Tune in to Mark and I for that show. So, Mark, some people to thank tonight. We want to thank the people over at Special Sauce Podcast, Startup Finance, and Drive Yourself to Success, specialsaucepodcast.com. Jag Media Productions. Also want to thank the good people at Studio 42 Designs, your graphic designs needs for all of it. Studio42designs.com. CORSO Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm, CORSOLawGroup.com. Allow us to be your voice. And Mountain View Home Watch and Security, Scottsdale's leading watch and security firm. Joseph, thank you so much again for everything you do. Everything was great tonight. Tune in next week to the Pats Nation, where the Patriots will be hosting the Browns at 1 p.m. Eastern. Our post-game coverage will be 30 minutes following that game, so you don't want to miss that. And look, hey, join us and tune in next Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, for CORSO and CATONE, the real deal New England feel, and we will be previewing that very same Browns game. So, for Mark CATONE, Joe Goneri, I'm Chris CORSO. Final score, Patriots 24, Panthers 6. We're 5-4 and ready to go. So long, everyone.